Hello, and welcome back to True Scam Stories. We work hard. For 50 weeks a year, we grind. We save. We deal with the stress of deadlines, traffic, and bills. We do it all for those 2 precious weeks of escape. The vacation. It is the light at the end of the tunnel. We spend months scrolling through photos of blue pools, white linens, and sunsets. We visualize ourselves there. We book the flight. We book the house. We count down the days. But what if the light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming the other way? What if the stunning villa you booked, the one with the infinity pool and the marble kitchen, doesn't exist? What if the charming host you've been messaging isn't a homeowner, but a ghost operating from an internet cafe halfway across the world? Today, we tell the story of the Sullivan family. They thought they were heading to a dream getaway in Malibu. Instead, they arrived at a driveway that led to nowhere, with 3 tired children in the backseat and a bank account that had been drained by a phantom. This is the story of the Mirage Mansion. Mark and Jessica Sullivan needed a break. Badly. Mark had just finished a grueling year leading a merger at his law firm, and Jessica had been managing the chaotic schedules of their 3 kids. They wanted to do something special. Not just a hotel room. They wanted a home. They began searching online for a vacation rental in Malibu, California. They scoured the usual sites, Airbnb, VRBO, but the prices for a house big enough for 5 people were astronomical. $800 a night. $1,000 a night. It was discouraging. Then, Mark found it. He was looking through a secondary listing site, a classified section often used for luxury sublets. There it was, Villa Pacifica. The photos were breathtaking. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Pacific Ocean. A chef's kitchen. A sprawling deck with a fire pit. And the price? $450 a night. It seemed impossible. But the listing explained it. Last-minute cancellation. Owner traveling overseas for urgent business. Must fill dates immediately. 50% discount for the week of July 4th. Mark felt a rush of adrenaline. He had found a unicorn. He immediately sent a message through the platform. Within 10 minutes, he received a reply from Elena. Hi Mark. Yes, it is heartbreaking, but my loss is your gain. My original guests had a medical emergency and cancelled this morning. I'd love to host your beautiful family. However, because this is so last minute, I'm handling the booking privately to avoid the platform's 48-hour processing hold. We can finalize it today. Mark hesitated. He knew the rule, never go off platform. But Elena was slick. She sent him a link to what looked like a personal real estate portfolio website. It verified her identity as a luxury property manager. She sent him a photo of her driver's license, which was, of course, a high-quality Photoshop forgery. She even insisted on a phone call. They spoke for 20 minutes. Elena sounded sophisticated, kind, and knowledgeable about Malibu. She recommended the best seafood restaurants. She asked about his kids' ages so she could leave out appropriate toys. She built rapport. She wasn't a faceless scammer. She was a helpful human being. Okay, Mark said, his guard lowered by her charm and the pressure of the expiring deal. How do we book? To secure the dates instantly, Elena said, I use a direct wire transfer to my business account. Or, if it's easier, we can use Zelle. It's instant, and it locks the calendar so no one else can snag it while we speak. Mark looked at the photos of the ocean one last time. He imagined his wife's face when they walked in. He transferred $3,150 via Zelle. The full week's payment. Elena confirmed receipt instantly. You are all set, Mark. I'll email you the digital entry code and the welcome packet on the morning of your arrival. Can't wait to have you. Mark felt like a hero. He had booked the trip of a lifetime for half the price. July 4th arrived. The Sullivans flew into LAX, rented a large SUV, and began the scenic drive up the Pacific Coast Highway. The sun was shining. The ocean sparkled. The kids were singing in the back. Mark checked his email for the entry code. Nothing. That's weird, he muttered. He checked his spam folder. Nothing. He sent a text to Elena. Hi Elena, we are about an hour away. Just checking for the entry code. Message status. Delivered. 20 minutes passed. No reply. He tried calling her. The number you have reached is no longer in service. A cold prickle of sweat broke out on the back of his neck. Probably just bad reception in the canyons, he told Jessica, forcing a smile. We have the address. We'll just go there. They turned off the highway and wound their way up the prestigious hills of Malibu. The GPS counted down. Arrival in 2 minutes. They turned onto the street named in the listing, Vista del Mar Lane. Mark looked at the house numbers. 4500. 4510. It's supposed to be 4520, he said. They drove past 4510. Next to it was a chain link fence. Behind the fence was a dirt lot, overgrown with weeds and dry brush. A rusted for sale sign leaned crookedly in the dirt. Next to the empty lot was house number 4530. There was number 4520. Mark stopped the car in the middle of the street. The silence in the SUV was deafening. Mark? Jessica asked, her voice tight. Where is the villa? Mark got out of the car. He looked at the empty lot. He looked at his phone, at the beautiful photos of the Villa Pacifica with its infinity pool and fire pit. He looked at the dirt. He walked over to the neighbor at 4530, who was watering his lawn. Excuse me, Mark asked, his voice shaking. We are looking for Villa Pacifica? 4520 Vista Del Mar. The neighbor looked at Mark, then at the rental car filled with luggage and kids, and his expression softened into pity. You're the third one this month, the neighbor said quietly. There is number 4520. That lot has been empty for 20 years. The photos you have? That house is actually in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I've seen the listing online. The world tilted. Mark stood on the side of the road, the California sun beating down on him. He dialed Elena again. Disconnected. He opened the listing website. Listing removed. The $3,150 was gone. The vacation was gone. But worst of all was the look in his children's eyes when he had to get back into the car and tell them there was no pool. There was no beach house. Daddy had been tricked. They ended up staying in a cramped, overpriced motel by the airport for 2 nights before flying home early, defeated and thousands of dollars poorer. Mark and Jessica fell victim to the virtual rental scam, a fraud that costs travelers millions of dollars every year. The owner, Elena, was never in Malibu. She was likely part of an organized crime ring operating out of Eastern Europe or West Africa, managing hundreds of fake listings across the globe simultaneously. Let's dissect the ghost's playbook so you can spot the mirage before you pay. 1. The phantom property, the visual lie. The scammers do and take photos of the property because the property doesn't exist at that address. The trick, they steal high-resolution photos from real estate sites, Zillow, Redfin, or legit Airbnb listings in different countries. They assume you won't recognize a villa in Mexico if they say it's in Malibu. Asterisk the defense. Reverse image search. Before you book, take the main photo of the house, the exterior or the pool, and drop it into Google Images or TinEye. If that Malibu house shows up on a listing in Cabo, Greece, or Bali, you just dodged a bullet. 2. The platform pivot, the dangerous detour. This is the single biggest red flag. The trick, they list on a legitimate site to find you, but they immediately try to move you off the site to communicate and pay. They use excuses like avoiding fees, calendar glitches, or platform holds. The defense, stay inside the walled garden. Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com act as escrow agents. They hold your money and don't release it to the host until 24 hours after you check in. If you pay through the app and the house doesn't exist, the platform refunds you. If you Zelle Elena directly, that money is cash in the wind. 3. The too good to be true price, the lure. The trick, scammers know we are bargain hunters. They price their luxury listings 30% to 50% lower than the market rate to create irresistible temptation. The defense, if every house in Malibu is $1,000 a night, and this one is $450, it's not a deal. It's a trap. 4. The payment method, the final nail. The trick, they demand methods that are instant and irreversible. Wire transfer, Zelle, Cash App, or Bitcoin. The defense, never pay for a rental with these methods. A credit card offers fraud protection. Zelle offers nothing once you press send. 5. The ghost check, verification. The trick, using a fake address or a real address of an empty lot. The defense, look up the address on Google Maps Street View. Does the house in the Street View match the photos in the listing? Is it an empty lot? Is it a Taco Bell? The feeling of arriving at a destination to find nothing but dirt is a specific kind of trauma. It ruins memories before they are even made. When booking your next escape, remember, a ghost can be charming, helpful, and polite online, but they can't give you the keys to the front door. If they ask you to leave the app, you leave the deal. Thank you for listening to True Scam Stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe.